and I will simply start by asking this question. Dennis, you can answer this.
Okay.
Is UNC in legitimate danger of missing the NCAA tournament?
Yes.
That is the correct answer. That doesn't mean they will. That doesn't mean that the damage is irreparable. They are 6-5. They are 1-5 right now in games that are, I would say, almost certainly going to be quad one games. The one exception, I think, to that is the game they won. I'm not sure that Dayton will be a top 50 team at the end of the year. They probably will. But it's possible also that they could end up around 60. And if that's the case, then that won't be a quad one win. But
Dayton did just beat Marquette the other day, which is a big boost for them.
Okay, well, then Dayton will definitely stay in the top 50, so that will remain. That will be one quad one win. We've already talked extensively about the challenges that the Atlantic Coast Conference will have providing quad one win opportunities. Carolina has UCLA on Saturday, and then by the best of my ability, no more, and probably not quite, 6 quad one chances the rest of the way. That's it, 6. Virtually every game for a road team in the other leagues is going to be a quad one opportunity. For UNC, they have a home and home with Pitt, home and home with Duke. They're on the road at Louisville and at Clemson, and maybe all 6 will remain. Anyway, the point is they don't have too many chances to build a resume because there's just not that many good games. So if you're North Carolina, you know what the job is. Win about 13 conference games. Good luck. Because they have challenges to their team. Think about this. R.J. Davis scored 29 points last night. They were down 17 in the first half. Raleigh took a 4-point lead with under 4 minutes to go and then kind of disintegrated down the stretch. You could say they ran out of gas. Whatever. We're going to hear from Hubert Davis in a minute and R.J. Davis. But the reality is there's a reason they were down 17. There's a reason they get down. They were down 22, I think, to Dayton in the first half in Maui. I watched that. I'm like, what is going on here?
They've had a lot of big first half deficits in games this year.
In every quality game that the one I didn't see the Michigan State game. That was a competitive game. I think they lost in overtime. But the Dayton game, I think it was 55. Was it 55-33? Something like that. I think it was in the first half. Like, well, how do you do that? But they have serious challenges to overcome as a team, and I am not sure they can do it. So they were 5 of 28 from three-point range last night. Now, that is not as good as they normally shoot. They are, as a team, a little bit better than 30%. I think it's 31% from three-point range as a team. Davis, their best player, is shooting 25%. That's untenable. I assume he will get back to being a 40% three-point shooter, and maybe somebody's going to pay the price because he's going to go on a run. But where are the other threes coming from? Seth Trimble has been pretty good. Drake Powell has been pretty good. They don't shoot a ton, but they've been pretty good. Elliot Cadeau is not helping. He's also a 25% three-point shooter, and frankly, it's been a disappointing start to the year, I think, for Cadeau. We all love Cadeau as a player, but it's been a pretty disappointing start. He had 4 turnovers last night. He has kind of gotten lost in his feels during games. If you've watched, he's a pretty emotional player, and when it's not going well, it doesn't help. He can be great, but boy, they need him to be great. Defensively, they're not great. They're small in the backcourt. Their best 5 players on the court, probably all 6'7" or smaller.
Yeah, Venal Lubin's been starting, and he's listed at 6'8".
Yeah,
I don't know if he is.
But I'm talking about their best players.
Their best players, yeah.
They don't have a big who is in their best 5 players. Because I think their best 5 players are Powell, Jackson, and the 3 guards who start.
Yeah.
Those are their best 5 players.
Yep.
I think Drake Powell is 6'6". Ian Jackson, I love Ian Jackson.
He's good.
Right? This is a team without anything in the middle that can compete and give them legitimate presence. Jalen Washington, whatever I just tried to say, was that English?
Yeah.
Jalen Washington is the closest thing they've got to a big man, and I just don't think he is the caliber of who is going to compete against good teams. Not even against, Final Four caliber teams like they've played in Auburn and Alabama and Kansas. You got no chance in those games. But they got beat on the offensive glass. They're not a good defensive rebounding team. Like Carolina's 223 in the country in defensive rebounding.
Yeah, not good.
They're not getting offensive rebounds. This is what Carolina basketball has been built on. Getting to the offensive glass, second chance points. It just hasn't been good. And I am legitimately worried. There's plenty of time to play well. But boy, I don't know if their defense is going to allow them to play well. Now, when you get inside the ACC, maybe you can win a whole bunch of games, but they're going to have to. They're going to have to be, 13, maybe 14 wins. I think in order to because there's a lot of soft in the ACC. Real quick I want to hear from Hubert Davis. Davis on the repeated slow starts.
I can't explain. To play with that type of energy and effort in the second half and not have that consistently in the first half or for an entire game is something that's been the consistent theme for us. Or it's not sustainable.
Yeah. You can't get down 17 points to a really good team, and Florida's a really good team. And maybe this Carolina team overscheduled. I don't know. Although some of the schedule was made for them, ACC, SEC Challenge, Maui Invitational. Maybe it would have been better for them to play Connecticut because Connecticut was a mess on the island also. But I thought they would beat Florida last night. I thought Carolina wouldn't get down 1,000 points early. Is what it is. UNC has a lot of work to do.